Okay, so hey guys and welcome back to another Sport This Week video, and in today's video I've got basketball, baseball, tennis, football, UFC, boxing, F1 and NFL news. If you are new around here and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do indeed like the video, and let's get straight into it. So starting off this week, I'm going to start off with the football news. So Palace won 3-0 versus Arsenal, Man City won 1-0 versus Atletico, Liverpool won 3-1 versus Benfica, Burnley won 3-2 versus Everton, Villarreal won 1-0 versus Bayern, Real Madrid won 3-1 versus Chelsea, Leipzig drew 1-1 versus Atalanta, Frankfurt drew 1-1 versus Barcelona, West Ham drew 1-1 versus Lyon, Braga won 1-0 versus Rangers, Bodo Glimt won 2-1 versus Roma, Marseille won 2-1 versus PAOK, Leicester drew 0-0 versus PSV, Feyenoord drew 3-3 versus Slavia Prague, Newcastle won 1-0 versus Wolves, Everton won 1-0 versus Man U, Bayern won 1-0 versus Augsburg, Chelsea won 6-0 versus Southampton, Brighton won 2-1 versus Arsenal, Inter won 2-0 versus Verona, Spurs won 4-0 versus Villa, Leeds won 3-0 versus Watford, PSG won 6-1 versus Clermont, Real Madrid won 2-0 versus Getafe, Juventus won 2-1 versus Cagliari. Warnock has announced his retirement after many years of management. He has finally retired. Which is a shame, but I mean it was bound to happen one day because he is getting a bit older now. Sassuolo won 2-0 versus Atalanta, Brentford won 2-0 versus West Ham, Norwich won 2-0 versus Burnley, Leicester won 2-1 versus Palace, Fiorentina won 3-2 versus Napoli, and Man City drew 2-2 versus Liverpool. And yeah, that is all of the football news. Moving on to the F1 now. It was the Australian Grand Prix where Leclerc was on pole, Verstappen started second, and Perez started third. And in the end, Leclerc won, Perez came second, and Russell finished third. Which, I mean, is fair play to Leclerc. He started the race on pole, and he didn't go behind at all. He stayed in first place the whole race, and then ended up winning it. Verstappen, Vettel, and Sainz all did not finish. Verstappen again getting some engine problems, which seems to be a recurring issue for Red Bull this season. So we'll have to see if anything changes with them. Moving on to the NFL news now, where there is only a tiny bit of news, and that is Bills extending Diggs. And yeah, that is all the NFL news. Like I said, only a tiny bit. Moving on to the UFC now. Panzini will fight Pereira on the 21st of May. Rosenstruck versus Tybura was cancelled. Chimaev won via decision versus Burns, which I did get right. Sterling won via decision versus Yarn, which I did not get right, but was a interesting fight. But the Chimaev fight, going back to that, was a crazy fight, amazing fight. But fair play to Chimaev. And Volkanovski won via KO versus Kareem Zombie to keep his title. So yeah, both the title holders keeping their belts, and I mean I got the Volkanovski one right. So I mean 2 out of 3 isn't too bad for predictions for UFC. Moving on to the boxing news now, where there's quite a lot of news. Golovkin won via knockout in round 9 in the 9th round versus Murata to remain IBF and RBO middleweight champion and become WBA super middleweight champion. Fundara won via TKO in round 9 versus Lubin to become WBC super welterweight interim champion. Mosley Jr. won via majority decision versus Rosada to become WBA Continental American Super Middleweight Champion, and Garcia won via unanimous decision versus Tago, which I did get right, that Garcia fight. I didn't think it would go to a unanimous decision, as that's, I'm pretty sure, the first fight that has done that for Garcia, but he did get the win in the end, and that extends him to, I believe that's 23-0 now. So congratulations to him. Moving on now, I'm going to go to the baseball news. Dodgers lost 5-1 versus Angels. Yankees won 5-2 versus Phillies. Red Sox lost 2-0 versus Twins. Giants won 5-3 versus Athletics. Dodgers lost 10-4 versus Angels. Yankees lost 5-3 versus Tigers. Red Sox won 10-6 versus Twins. Giants drew 7-7 versus Athletics. Dodgers won 5-0 versus Angels. Yankees won 6-5 versus Marlins. Yankees won 4-2 versus Red Sox. Giants lost 2-1 versus Marlins. Dodgers won 3-2 versus Rockies. Dodgers lost 9-4 versus Rockies. Giants won 3-2 versus Marlins. Yeah, that is all the baseball news. Not loads this week, but still a decent amount. Moving on to the tennis news now, where it's the Volvo Car Open. Jabeur and Sabalenka lost 2-0 versus Pegula and Guarachi. Sabalenka won 2-0 versus Risque. Sabalenka lost 2-1 versus Anisimova. It was the Monte Carlo Masters as well, where Linette and Klipak won 2-1 versus Hradecka. Oh, no, this is not to do with the Monte Carlo Masters, but it was that. Linette and Klipak won 2-1 versus Hradecka and Mirza to win the Volvo Car Women's Doubles Open. And then this was the Monte Carlo Open. Monte Carlo Masters, sorry. Melo and Zverev won 2-0 versus Hurkacz and Sinner. So that is the only Monte Carlo Masters news this week. Not trying to confuse anybody. And then the Bensic won 2-1 versus Jabeur to win the Volvo Car Men's Open, Men's Singles Open. So yeah, that is all the tennis news. Moving on to the final sport now, which is the basketball news. Heat won 114 to 109 versus Raptors. Clippers won 119 to 100 versus Pelicans. 76ers won 131 to 122 versus Pacers. Heat won 144 to 115 versus Hornets. Bulls lost 127 to 106 versus Bucks. Lakers lost 121 to 110 versus Suns. Celtics won 117 to 94 versus Bulls. Clippers won 113 to 109 versus Suns. 76ers lost 119 to 114 versus Raptors. 76ers lost 127 to 121 versus Bucks. Lakers lost 128 to 112 versus Warriors. Bulls lost 113 to 117 versus Hornets. Heat won 113 to 109 versus Hawks. Lakers won 120 to 101 versus Thunder. 76ers won 133 to 120 versus Pacers. And Clippers won 117 to 98 versus Kings. And yeah, that is all of the basketball news. And that is the end of sport this week. For this week, there'll be 2 other boxing predictions coming up this week. Not any UFC ones this week. And I'll say the next one. I won't say both of them, but the next one is the Spence versus Ugas. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I might be wrong with that, but it's the Spence fight. But yeah, that is something to look forward to. 2 more videos this week. But yeah, that is the end of this video. Hope you have enjoyed. Like the video if you did indeed like the video. Subscribe if you're new. And thanks for watching.